everybody, welcome to another Yarn Scrap Friday with me, Laura, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this butterfly. And to make this butterfly you can use any yarn and hook size that you like, but I chose to use a DK light worsted weight yarn. That's a yarn weight of 3, and with that I used a 2.5mm crochet hook, but like I said, you can use any yarn weight and hook size that you like really. It'll just change the size of the butterfly. And with that you're going to need a pair of scissors, and it's also a good idea to have a yarn tapestry needle as well. That's one with a big eye at the end. That's to sew in your ends. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so to make this butterfly I'm going to start off with whatever colour you want at the end. So that's for the main body and the edge of the wings. You start off with. So we're going to start, I'm going to make a green, mainly green butterfly this time. And you're going to start off with a chain 4 loop. So you can also work the magic circle, magic ring if you prefer. I'm going to start off with a chain 4 loops. So first thing we're going to do is a slip knot. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with our slip knot. A little slip knot. We're going to chain 4. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. So chain 4. I'm going to put our hook into our first chain, into there. I'm going to bring the yarn through the first chain, bring it straight through the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch, and now we've got our little 4 chain loop which is joined at the beginning and the end, and in the middle, as you can see there, is a little hole. We're going to work some stitches into there. Don't confuse it with your first chain, which can look quite big. You need to find the center of your little 4 chain loop. Okay, but before we do that, before we work any stitches into the center, we're just going to do a little chain 1. That's not going to count that as a stitch, that's just for leverage. And then we're going to work some 3 double crochet clusters, so as I'm going to call them. So to do that, we're going to yarn over, because this pattern's in US terminology, so we're going to yarn over to do our double crochets. And then we're going to put our hook into the center. Like I said, don't confuse it with that first chain where it looks quite big. You need to find the middle of that loop, bring the yarn through the middle, and yarn over, but only pull through the first 2 loops. So it's as if you're doing a normal double crochet, but we're going to stop there. And what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over again, go back into the center, bring the yarn through again, and the same again, we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, but then stop. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over one more time, third time, go into the center, bring the yarn through the middle. Same again, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only. Okay, so you end up with 4 loops at the end. We've done sort of 3 double crochets or half of them. And then to finish up, we're going to yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, and that creates a little cluster of 3 double crochets. Okay, but you end up with 1 stitch at the end. So it's like a little sort of, so it's like a sort of like a mini bobble stitch with just 3 double crochets. And once you've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, so 1 and 2, and we're going to do another 3 double crochet cluster or bubble stitch. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to go back into the center of our 4 chain loop again. If you're struggling to see the center, just find where all these 3 double crochets congregate. Put your hook into the middle, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There we go, 2 loops. But then stop. Yarn over a second time into the middle, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, then yarn over for a third time into the center, bring the yarn through the center, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You end up with 4 loops, then yarn over, pull through all 4 loops to complete your second 3 double crochet cluster bobble stitch. Okay, and we want 5 of these little clusters, so we're going to chain 2 in between, so 1 and 2, and we're going to do another 3 double crochet cluster. So into the center again, yarn over into the center, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over second time, back into the middle, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over for third time into the center, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, whoops, and you end up with 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, so that's our third one. We want 5 of these. We chain 2 in between, so chain 1 and 2, and then do that again. You may just want to move your stitches around. So yarn over into the middle, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over a second time into the middle, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over for a third time into the center, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, you end up with 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to do one more. Chain 2, 1 and 2. And then same again, yarn over into the middle. Make sure the yarn that you're working with sits right in the middle as well, so it's not catching on any other bits of your project. Make sure it's just sitting nice and ready to be picked up. Bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over a second time into the middle, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over for a third time. Don't forget to yarn over because we're doing double crochets. Bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, got 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, so we've got 5 3 double crochet clusters, so I'm going to call them bubble stitches, but we're not going to join the round, we're just going to leave that. Okay, but what we're going to do, instead of yarning over with the green, we're going to yarn over with our second colours. In this case it was like the purple, well, it's purple on both actually, so I'm going to use a pink. So I'm going to yarn over with the pink, just hold it with my finger and bring that through, do a little chain 1 with your new colour, then you can pull your green nice and tight. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work. Okay, so we're literally just going to flip our work over to work back in the opposite direction. And the first thing we're going to do is, what are we going to do? We're going to do a couple of 3 double crochet clusters again. So we're working mainly with 3 double crochet clusters on this row as well. So we yarn over, then going into your 2 chain space, so that's in between your 3 double crochet clusters, find that 2 chain space, that first one, put your hook into the big gap of that 2 chain space, bring the yarn through and do a 3 double crochet cluster. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the 2 chain space, just wrapping it around the 2 chains, pull through 2 loops, third time into the 2 chain space, and yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, you've got your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 6 after this, so chain 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so we've chained 6. We're going to do another 3 double crochet cluster into the same 2 chain space. So we're going to yarn over, go back into the same 2 chain space, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, could be a little bit tricky, yarn over a second time, same 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over a third time into the 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, got your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, there we go. So it looks a little something like that. You've got your 2 3 double crochet cluster bubble stitches in there, you've got chain 6 in between. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, so chain 1 and 2, chain 2, let's move it that way. Then find your next 2 chain space over. It's just going to be, you're going to skip that 3 double crochet cluster and find your next 2 chain space. And in there we're going to do some more double crochet clusters. So we're going to do yarn over, go straight into this 2 chain space, the big gap onto your 2 chains, and do another 3 double crochet clusters. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, this time though we're going to chain 3 instead. I'm going to chain 3, so chain 1, 2 and 3. We chain 6 on this one, we're going to chain 3 on this one, and then we do another 3 double crochet cluster in the same 2 chain space. So go back into the same 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, and one more time, yarn over to 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, got your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, so it should look like that. Then what we're going to do is kind of repeat this but in reverse. We're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, chain 2, then in the next 2 chain space we do a 3 double crochet cluster. So in the next 2 chain space do another 3 double crochet cluster, same as before, pull through 2, third time, pull through 2, got your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 4 loops, going to chain 3 to match this side, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, then we do another 3 double crochet cluster in the same 2 chain space. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, got your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. We're going to move on to the last 2 chain space. You should only have 1 left. Start off with a 3 double crochet cluster in there. So pull through 2, yarn over the 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, third time, 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, got 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4. This time we're going to chain 6 to match this side. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we're going to finish up with a 3 double crochet cluster in the same 2 chain space. So yarn over, make sure when after you've chained and you've yarned over, it doesn't twist around like that, so you can pull too tight. Just use this finger just to hold it into place, helps you see. Go into the same 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, third time, pull through 2, don't forget to pull through 2, get your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, so it should look a little something like this. You can see it's starting to come together. But what we're going to do now is we're going to reintroduce our green. You don't have to, you can do your butterflies in just one colour if you want to. Instead of yarning over with the pink, I'm just going to bring up the green, which is still attached to this side. Make sure I don't get the tail end. I'm just going to hook that through my loop, and without keeping it flat, I'm just going to pull the pink loop down. And don't worry about this loop because that's going to disappear at the end. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work and work back in the opposite direction. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work 5 double crochets in this 6 chain space. Let's get that out of the way. So this 6 chain space, can't say it. We're going to work 5 double crochets to begin. So just normal double crochets, wrapping it around the chains. Just normal double crochets this time, so complete them. So that's 1. You might want to move them over. So pull through 2, pull through 2, proper stitches. So that's 2. 3. If you're new to crochet, I do recommend checking out my beginner tutorials and then coming back to this, and we're focusing on the double crochet. That's 4, then 1 more, 5. Okay, so I've done 5 double crochets in that 6 chain space. Just want to move them over, make sure they're next to each other. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. So chain 1 and 2, chain 2. Then what you want to do is to slip stitch in your last double crochet. So here's your last double crochet stitch. And just at the top of there, you'll see, if you pull it apart, you'll see that stitch hole there, not that big one underneath, that one there. You're going to put your hook into there, then bring the yarn through that double crochet stitch and bring it straight through the loop on your hook, and that creates a tiny little picot point on the edge. Then we're going to finish up with 4 double crochets in the same 6 chain space. So we're still working in the same 6 chain space. We're going to do another 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and one more, 4. Okay, it's 4 double crochets. So you end up with 9 in total, but the reason we do 5 at the beginning is because we want to do that little picot. But then what we're going to do is we are going to slip stitch in the next 2 chain space. So this 2 chain space in between these 2 groups of 3 double crochet clusters. In that next 2 chain space, put your hook in there, bring the yarn through, and bring it straight through the loop on your hook. Just do a little slip stitch, okay, like so. Then in the next 2 chain space, we're going to do 3 double crochets. So in the next, it's not 2 chain space, sorry, and it's going to be a 3 chain space, this one here, isn't it? We did 3 chains, not 6. So in the 3 chain space, put our hook in there, going to do 3 double crochet, straight from that slip stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 3 double crochets. Just move those over. Same again, we're going to chain 2 and do a little picot. So chain 2, 1 and 2. Find the last double crochet and that stitch at the top. Put your hook into there. Bring the yarn through there and straight through the loop on your hook to do a little picot. And then what we're going to do, we're going to do 2 double crochet in the same 3 chain space. Go same 3 chain space, do 2 more double crochets. So 1 and another one, 2. So you end up with 5 in total. Okay, so it should look like that. It's like a mini version of this, basically. Then what we're going to do is we are going to chain 2. So I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Chain 2. I'm going to do a slip stitch in this 2 chain space, which is in the middle. Okay, so in this one here, bring the yarn through, straight for the loop on your hook. Just do a slip stitch. Then chain 2, 1 and 2. We're chaining 2 here. We didn't chain 2 here. We just literally finished our double crochet, did a slip stitch and moved on. Here we're chaining 2 in between the slip stitch. Then in the 3 chain space over here, we're going to do the same as what we did here. So we start off with 3 double crochets. 1, move them over. 2, 3, 3 double crochets. Let's move those over. Chain 2 to do a little picot. 1 and 2. Slip stitch top of your previous double crochet, like so, and then 2 more double crochet in the same space. 2 more, so 1 and another one. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch. We're not going to chain or anything. We're going to go straight into this 2 chain space here and do a little slip stitch. Bring the yarn through, straight through the loop on your hook, like so. Then in the 6 chain space at the end, we're going to start off with 5 double crochet. So go straight in there, don't chain first or anything, straight in there, do 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, move them over, 3, 4, another one, 5. So we do 5 double crochets first off in that 6 chain space. Make sure they're all next to each other. Do your little picot, chain 2, 1 and 2, slip stitch into that top of your previous double crochet. Just make sure that bit of yarn's just nicely down, not caught up in your picot. Bring that through the stitch, straight for the loop on your hook. Finish up with 4 more double crochets in the same 6 chain space. So 4 more double crochets. So 1, I think that one went a bit, it's got caught up, it feels too small. Let's do that again. Right. 1, there we go. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so finish up with 4 double crochets. So it should look a little something like this. You're pretty much there with your butterfly. We just need to work on just the body part really, and these parts here. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to chain 2. I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, chain 2. We're going to slip stitch in the middle, right in the middle, all the way over here. So if you can bring your hook over, put your hook right into the middle, and then just making sure that you're not catching any other bits of yarn, bring that through the middle, straight for the loop on your hook. Okay, and if it's a little bit sort of bendy or too tight, too distorted, you can just chain an extra one, chain 3 instead if you prefer, just so it lies flat. Chain 2 works well for this weight and hook size. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to chain 8 from here. So making sure my tail ends are out of the way. I'm going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So chained 8 from there. And then I'm going to slip stitch in my second stitch from hook, my second chain from hook. We don't count the loop on your hook. So there's your first, there's your second. You hook into there, and the second one, and do a little slip stitch. So through the stitch, through the loop. We're going to slip stitch all the way down back to the end. You just end up with 7 slip stitches. So 2, 3, and then the next one, 4. Next one, 5. Next one, 6. Then the last one, 7. Should have one more. 7. So my tail end's always getting in the way. 7. Okay, so it should look like that. Then we're going to slip stitch into the middle again. So we're going to put our hook into the middle again, making sure to grab the right bit of yarn, bring that through, and straight for the loop on your hook, like so. And then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then we're going to slip stitch in our second chain from hooks. We don't count the loop on our hook. There's our first one, there's our second. Hook into there. Do a little slip stitch. And slip stitch all the way back to the beginning. So you should have 7, 2, next one, 3. Next one, 4. Next one, 5. Next one, 6. And the last one, where's the last one? 7. Okay. Then we're going to put our hook in the middle again. So into the middle, make sure to grab the right bit of yarn, get those tail ends out of the way. Bring that through and straight for the loop on your hook. And then what we're going to do, we're going to slip stitch down the middle. So make sure it's symmetrical. Find that center point down there. So it's going to be in between those pink ones. We're going to slip stitch down to the bottom here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of, we're in the middle there at the moment. So I'm going to find a little space around about here. Just put my hook through, grab the yarn at the back. Bring that through, keep it loose because there's obviously a bit of a gap. Just keep it loose like so. And I'm going to move over a little bit, so there's a bit of a gap there, so I'm going to put that through, grab the yarn, do another slip stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to put it in at the very end, this little slip stitch I did at the end. Bring that through, just keeping it loose so it doesn't distort the shape. Okay, and we've slip stitched down the middle. Then what I'm going to do is a little bit of a tail at the bottom. To do that, I'm going to chain 4, chain 1, 2, 3, and 4, chain 4. Slip stitch in your second chain from hook, so don't count the loop. 1, 2. That's the second one. We do a little slip stitch and slip stitch in the next one. 2. Slip stitch in the last one, 3. So you should have 3 slip stitches all in all. Then we're going to slip stitch up, back up the middle. You may prefer to just end there if you want to. I'm just going to slip stitch back up. So I'm going to go back in to the same areas I did the last time. So about there. Do a little slip stitch. I'm going to slip stitch here, then I moved up to here. Make sure you're grabbing the right bit of yarn, not bringing anything else through like I just did there, brought a bit of pink through. So let's bring that back out, get that tail end out of the way. Try that again. So it went in about there. Then into the middle. There, and then I'm just going to finish up by going up to the top. So where these meet, these little feelers meet, I'm just going to put my hook into there. There we go. Through to the back. There, bring that through. Like so, just so it joins up. Okay. Then we can cut our yarn. And just pull that through, and there is our little finished butterfly, like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the yarn needle, thread that on, and just going to sew to the back, just over the top of that last stitch, just to get that to the back. And turn that over and then just hide your tail ends. So I'm just going to sew on the back, just sew over slightly into similar colours, one direction, and then come back and this is the opposite direction. And just trim down the excess. So I'm going to do the same for all the other tail ends, and then I'll come back and show you the finished butterfly. I can't remember what it's called then. And there we go. There is our little finished butterfly. Turn it over to the right way. You can see the finished butterfly. And you can make lots of these and join them together and add them to whatever you like. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you managed to follow along. And I will see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys.